So when Jesus says her name, she knows that it's him. She goes, Rabboni, teacher. Jesus said to her, do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father. That verse is very important. So Mary Magdalene had 7 demons cast out of her, right? She had been through literal hell. To be demon-possessed, she would have had to done or been done to her unthinkable, unspeakable things, right? Put in the blank. Put in how people had used her and abused her, how she had used and abused her own self, right? Think of all the things that could have or should have happened. Maybe you're not a person that had 7 demons cast out of them, but you have a story. Again, this weekend we heard a lady named Tracy Stewart, and she told a story about her past, about through the history of abuse that her parents put her through. That she was sexually abused as a child. That people had used her and abused her, and she thought because of that, then all these other things, that's what she was worth, right? Then the Lord saves her. And this whole process of freedom that's going on because God saves her. He cleans her. He makes her new. So understand that if you have a story like that, right? Maybe you go, Brad, I don't have a clue what that's like, but I know what it's like to be selfish and prideful and arrogant. It's still the same thing, right? Whether it's 7 demons cast out or it's going, man, I was a tax collector like Matthew where I knew how to make a buck and I could squeeze $1,000 out of a nickel and I'd steal them from everyone else too, right? It didn't matter if you were someone like Mary Magdalene or someone like who was Matthew, who was a tax collector, or you had Peter, James, and John who were fishermen who knew how to work with their hands and didn't want anything to do with the Matthews or the Marys of the world. Because they were uneducated though. They were the dumb guys, right? They were the ones that the Pharisees and the Sadducees would say, Jesus, you would make these guys to hang out with? Right? The uneducated ones. So understand, it doesn't matter what your story is, it's your story. But understand that Jesus would do it for Mary. Anyone who would have been having that deep relationship to walk after, he would have done it for. He showed himself to her for a reason. Because there was something special about their relationship, right? Yes? I would argue this. As I sat here and really pondered this scripture, I don't think Jesus showed himself because he loved Mary any more than the disciples. I think he showed himself to her because she showed up. Nothing more. Oh, I love Mary so much. Jesus prophesied that he was going to die and raise in 3 days, right? He's multiple times in scriptures he talks about it. So what do you think he thought? I know he's God and he knows everything, right? But in his flesh, what do you think he thought when he raised from the dead before he died? What do you think? Man, there's going to be a party. They're going to realize it. They're going to get it. He walks out of the tomb and guess what? Where is everybody? I'm convinced there was not because he loved Mary more. He did that because he wanted her to know you showed up. Where were the disciples? These 12 men, Peter who says, God, I'll die for you before I betray you. That's why he had his sword. Peter had his sword at the Garden of Gethsemane for no one other than Peter to show off to Jesus. He had his sword to cut off an ear. I'll die. See, Jesus, I'm willing to die for you. That wasn't anything more than Peter's pride to show that Jesus, you are wrong, that I'm going to deny you 3 times before the cock crows. Guess what Peter does? Denies him, right? The reason Jesus showed himself to Mary, in Brad Custis' opinion, right, is because she showed up.